So this past weekend I went to the car boot sale and I brought myself 3 pairs of Nike trainers. Now, I wasn't sure whether these were real or fake when I picked up in the field. I've now put them through CheckCheck, which is a tool to actually check whether shoes are real or fake, and the results have come back in. I'm going to share them with you today. But before you continue, pause the video and let me know in the comments whether you think these are real or whether you think these are fake. As I said, if you haven't seen the video from the car boot this weekend, go and watch that first of all. I'm going to ping up the link here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a little bit of the footage of around the clip where I picked it up. And I've had lots of comments from people saying that I left behind some really expensive pairs of trainers. And when I was listening to them comments come through yesterday, it was making me feel really uneasy, really unsure, because how can one person have so many good pairs is what I was thinking. And then I decided to speak to a couple of people with regards to how to authenticate these shoes. Now, with eBay, they do something where if the shoe is over a certain amount of money, I believe it's £100, it will have to go through authenticity for some shoes. So what happens is you effectively send it off to the eBay hub first of all. eBay will then check the shoe and then they will send it on to the customer if the shoe is legit. So eBay is getting a lot hotter when checking out trainers and shoes, which is great. I think it's a good thing. But I wanted to put it through CheckCheck first of all, which is that where we can see whether it's legit and you send them pictures, just to put my mind at peace and a bit of peace of mind for me to actually feel like, oh, are they going to be legit? Because if CheckCheck comes back and says authentic, I feel really comfortable sending them through eBay and have a lot more confidence it's going to pass. Now look, even sending it through with CheckCheck, if it comes back and it's passed and you send it through to eBay, it still might come back as a fail, as a fake. So I wanted to run it through just to check. So let me show you the 3 pairs first of all before we go to the results. So we had these Nike Bart Simpson ones. As I say, I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't know shoes too well. The only thing I've done in the field is I checked out the code on the tag there. Let me see if I can get that focus a bit better. So with Nike, the code at the top here, I don't know if it's going to focus, just under there, it says BQ6817602, and that checked out. So just typing that into Google, typing that into eBay, that checked out and came back as correct. The next one, this one here, I didn't know at the time it was a collab, and these are actually worth really, really, really good money. And again, I typed in the code when I was doing the comp searches, that code there, and that code again came back completely legitimate, and the shoe looked good. 2 out of 2, I thought. Now the Jordans themselves, they had no insoles, which for me, I didn't notice when I picked up, I'll be honest. But again, the code completely checked out. So in my head, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, similar to like Nike clothing, when I think about football shirts, you can type in the code and it will come up and you can kind of say it is legit. But in speaking to a few of the shoe people, they actually told me that a lot of these codes are actually faked. And in fact, sometimes you will type in this code and it will come up, say, Air Jordan, but it might be for women's instead of men's, etc. So let's get to the results with CheckCheck. That's why you've come for the video. You want to see whether they're real, whether they are fake. And we'll start with the Bart Simpsons. So I'm going to flash up the CheckCheck result, and I'm going to talk to you exactly about what the results said. So let's grab that picture first of all, and I can talk you through it. Okay, so the Bart Simpsons are this one here. So I sent it through, and just so you know, on CheckCheck, they ask you for an appearance photo, so of the side basically. Then they ask you for the inside label, which I showed you earlier. Then they ask for the bottom of the insole. So you take out the insole and they ask for a picture of the bottom of the insole. Then they ask you for a picture of the inside stitching. And then the other thing they ask you is for a box label. So if you have the box, the data code, which I believe is on the box, and then you can submit additional photos. So I took a few more photos of that, took a photo of the front, the back, the other side, and just showed as much as I could. Anyway, so result for the Bart Simpsons. They come back as not pass, fake. And here we go. The reason being is they're saying the heel part of insole stitching is what they said. So it looks like they are saying here, this stitching is not good. And that makes perfect sense, because the more I look at it compared to others, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, if you can see, it's very, very, very uneven in there with the stitching. It's very sloppy when it comes to that. So the Bart Simpsons are fake. Okay, now we come on to the other ones, these Nike ones here. Now, when I picked these up, I honestly did not know what they could potentially be worth. And these could have been the most expensive ones. Anything from £300 to £400 potentially. And again, when I checked the Nike code on the inside, that was all coming back as legit. But, surprise, surprise, check come back and said, fail. And the reason being, they said the inside label here and just the overall appearance of the trainer, they didn't believe were legit. The thing I was a little bit concerned about, I thought this was a bit sloppy. When I took out the insole, look at that stitching again. And look at this bit of tape here where they've just stuck down the stitching at the end. And that is the same on both shoes. Anyway, no point talking about it anymore. Another pair of fakes. Another £10 down the drain, so a £20 down the drain. And then we came to the third and final pair, the Air Jordans. Now, at the time, I didn't realise they didn't even have insoles. Otherwise, I probably would have left them behind anyway. Code checks out. But the funny thing with these codes here, what I was being told last night when I was speaking to a couple of the shoe people, is sometimes this code on Google will show up an Air Jordan. But it might show up like a women's when it's meant to be a men's. This one did show up men's, so it was all legit on that side. Sent it all through, put to check, I didn't have any insoles, couldn't send them pictures, so sent the side, the inside label, sent loads of extra pictures of these. And guess what? They come back as fake. I scored a hat-trick, and it makes a little bit of sense, because when we were watching the video yesterday on Tech's Call, Tech was pointing out about all the other shoes that I had left behind, including some Grateful Dead shoes that could have been worth a couple of £1,000s. But anyway, it makes a little bit more sense now why one person had so many pairs of shoes and she was asking £10 a pair. It wasn't like she was saying this pair's this much, this pair's this much, didn't have a price list, all trainers are £10 a pair. Should have probably rung an alarm bell at that point, but when you're in the car boot sale field, you're in such a rush to get stuff, and I saw the opportunity and I thought, you know what, take the risk. So I'm down £30, but for me, the lesson has been worth it. To lose £30, never nice. No one ever wants to lose £30. But I've learned so much from actually using Check, speaking to people, looking at the shoes myself, getting to know a little bit more about how stitching should look and how stitching shouldn't look, has been really, really, really beneficial, which is going to give me more confidence when picking up trainers. Just want to shout out a couple of people on the car boot sale video who actually straight away said the shoes are fake. And they sell trainers, it seems like, on a regular basis. So sometimes they can spot them with the naked eye. And it's very similar to where I'm getting to with clothing as well. Sometimes you can look at a tag now and I can know straight away whether it's real or fake on a lot of things. Still no expert, but I think the more you do it, the more you learn. And this is another reason why I think niching down in something is really good, because if I was niche down into trainers, I probably would have saved myself £30 just by doing a bit more preloaded knowledge at the start. Now, two things. Do I think the lady went to the car boot sale to scam people, to scam me? I'm not sure. I don't think so. She seemed very genuine. Maybe the fact that she was asking £10 a pair, she knew they weren't legit. But who knows? Only she knows whether she went to the car boot and she was happy to sell fakes. And a few people I spoke to about this yesterday said, what am I going to do now with the shoes? Am I going to sell them on another platform? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I don't want to put fakes back into the world, back into the market for other people to pick up. Luckily, the Jordans are a size 11. And I sit anywhere between like a 10 to 11 on most things. And the other two pairs are size 10 And I think this is also size 10, yeah. So, a couple of things. I'm either going to keep these 2 pairs because I don't care if they're fake. If you see me at the car boot sale, you see me wearing these, you can point them out, you can say you're wearing fakes, I don't care. With the Jordans, I will probably put in a one of them shoe donation things where it will end up overseas and someone will get good use out of these. Or it's going to end up at a rack house near you. So if you see these Air Jordans, do your checks. So anyway, yeah, a lot of people told me they were fake. I did lose £30, but I've learnt lots of good lessons. Let me know how your weekend went in the car boots. Have you picked up fakes before? Let me know the biggest fail you've made at a car boot. Let's talk about fails and how we learnt from that. Hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed learning. Gutted these aren't real. Could have been some good money. We move. See you guys very soon.